ESP, as we put this, put the Doppler on, you'll be able to see right there that the heaviest storm is going to be clipping right around the northwest corner of Person County, right around the Samora area. So as we zoom in very tightly here, it's not a very populated area, but you can see as I'll lay down a road here right now, this is in Caswell County, the road that moves into western Person County. This is State Highway 57 as it moves through Samora and down towards the south and east. But again, as you can see here, the main threat with this storm is just going to be just to the northwest of Person County, moving off to the northeast at 40 miles an hour. So we're going to go ahead and try to zoom in a little bit tighter here, see if we can't find some smaller roads. And there are some smaller roads, and we'll go ahead and lay down some streets right here. If you live in far northwestern Person County around the William Barker Road area, you know where that location is. Get to a place of safety for the possibility of a tornado that's passing by. Most likely it's going to be passing by around this area or just to the north and west. Chris Homan is here, and he's been looking at the information very closely as well. What do you have, Chris?
Okay, Scott. Well, you know, if we can't go over to Weather 2, we'll show you what's going on a wider view of what's happening around this evening. We've got a little boundary that, well, there's the camera, but if we can't go to Weather 2, we'll show you exactly what's happening with out to the west. You see this line of intense thunderstorms. Scott mentioned the threats, the reports of severe weather we've had. This line of storms stretches from western Virginia all the way down towards Charlotte. There have been numerous tornado warnings during the course of the afternoon. There's a boundary there to the north and northwest where the moisture to the north and west of the triad is much less than it is to the south and southeast. And along this boundary, there has been or have been numerous reports of tornadoes or at least tornado warnings. Most of this has been riding, as Scott mentioned, off to the northeast. It extends all the way back into sections of western South Carolina and Georgia. It'll gradually shift eastward. What we'll probably watch is a lot of that to shift into Virginia and maybe just skirt western parts of our viewing area. But then later tonight, showers and storms could easily be developing down to the south of us across South Carolina and spread up into central North Carolina. But northern sections of Person County, that tornado warning in effect. You can see it's just north of Roxborough. If you're actually in the city of Roxborough, you're not in that tornado warning. But Concord, Bethel Hill, those areas, this storm is just skimming by. And it's not impossible. Eastern parts of this warning area will completely miss out on this storm. It's really the western part. But they went ahead, the National Weather Service in Raleigh, and put that area of northern Person County under that warning just to be on the safe side. So remember, this is our really first threat of severe weather this season. If you're in this area of northern Person County, just go to a safe place immediately. Concord, Bethel Hill, anywhere in the areas right along the Virginia border, and that's the lowest floor. Remember these safety rules from last year and the year before and numerous other years, but lowest floor, an interior room. If you have a basement, that's the best place to go. Just get there. But if you don't, the lowest floor, an interior room, a hall closet, bathroom, anything like that, get in there, cover your head with pillows if you can, and just ride out the storm. More than likely, again, this storm will sort of bypass this area, or at least the potential that it could. But just to be on the safe side, as it moves to the northeast, you want to go ahead and take cover. So that's the best thing to do. Just ride out the storm and you'll be just fine. This activity out to the west across the Piedmont Triad area, where they've really gotten hammered with severe weather this evening, with numerous reports of some damage, some injuries too. And we'll be running through this on our 10 and 11 o'clock news. But that's mainly going off to the northeast right now. So once this warning expires, I don't think, Scott, we're going to see a whole lot more, at least in the short term. That's going to ride up into Virginia, and then we'll watch for later on tonight for the potential for some more severe weather. Yeah, I tell you what, we've been watching this line, Chris, and it's been amazing how each storm that's been riding along this boundary that you were talking about has been rotating, and we've been getting reports of not only strong rotation, but reports of tornadoes on the ground. Multiple reports. In fact, a large tornado reported on the ground just to the northwest of downtown High Point, and that's where we're getting reports of some pretty substantial damage. It's still coming in, the damage reports. But let's go to Weather Source 2 here, because I have the very latest image here. This is velocity data, and where you're seeing the greens and the reds and that little marker right there, and I'll go ahead and put a storm track. It really looks like, Chris, this main threat is going to be heading already into south central Virginia. But just to be on the safe side, around Cunningham, right along the Virginia border there, and
Person County, you might want to get to a place of safety as this continues to lift off to the north and east. We'll put this into motion and you'll be able to see how it continues to push on through Caswell County, now crossing the border into Virginia. I know there's a lot of colors there, but you'll be able to see it in just a second. It's coming up right now. You'll see this little couplet where the greens and the reds come together, just coming up right about in just a second. This is a little bit more of a time lapse than what I wanted here, but you can see the storm track right here moving, and there's what prompted the warning right there. We got a brief shear marker there, Chris, and you can see that continues to lift off to the north and east. So I think certainly if you live in Roxborough and point southward, this is not a threat to you, at least not right now.
Right, and I also want to mention too, our friends in southern Virginia, Mecklenburg County, west of there towards Danville, you want to be on the lookout for this too. Those counties are right along the Virginia border. Be on the lookout for warnings that will be issued there, and the tornado watch in effect too. Areas again from about South Hill over to Danville, you want to be on alert as well. But that tornado warning in effect until 9:15. Another 10-12 minutes for northern sections of Person County. Again, the tornado warnings keep getting issued back out towards the Triad. Another one was just issued for Guilford County. A tornado there in areas around Winston-Salem, and which of course is in Forsyth, but moving into Guilford County. And that's the area you see on Doppler XP, the area around the Triad. They've just gotten wave after wave of thunderstorms during the evening hours, and it's just skimming past us. So far, so good for us. But as Scott mentioned, reports of damage around areas around the Triad. I think, Scott, High Point, some damage downtown. Is that, or it's in town somewhere, somewhere around High Point. It's all rather sketchy now, but getting reports of some damage and some injuries during the evening hours.
Yeah, the streets that we were locating on the maps and everything are just north of High Point, on the northern suburbs of High Point, around Johnson Street over towards Skeet Road, I believe was one of the roads, and that is just north of the downtown area. But as you can see here, as we've got this into motion, we're looking at numerous cells here, continuing to ride right along that same boundary. And the latest warning that you just were describing, Chris, here is we'll put it on the latest image here, is just in around Winston-Salem and northern Guilford County, right around the Piedmont Triad Airport, and this extends into Caswell County and over towards just to the north of there. But I tell you what, it really looks like most of Person County right here is okay, except for the very extreme corner, northwest corner, as you can see right there, is where this storm is. Certainly you're getting some very heavy rain. Certainly some gusty winds with this are possible. And as you can see here, the warning's just been clipped a little bit, Chris. It now extends farther back to the south and west, but it looks like this storm right now is not going to be affecting the Roxborough area.
No, you're right, Scott. Heading off due to the northeast between Danville and Clarksville in Virginia, in southern Virginia. So if you're in that area just north of Person County of southern Virginia, you want to go ahead and probably take cover there too, because that storm is making its way towards the northeast very quickly.